The universe is rigged in your favor. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 148 of our BU 365-day challenge. This year's annual challenge to do one thing every day that improves us in some way, shape, or form. This segment, this month, the month of May, Money May, we are focusing on our financial well-being. And we've talked about a lot of different topics. We've run through the SOAP framework on one little area or aspect of our financial well-being that we wanted to work on and improve. And hopefully you're using the SOAP framework as you go through other things that come up as they come up to make sure that you're getting the best possible result for you. So today we're going to talk about, our topic is the universe is rigged in your favor. Now this is a really interesting subject. For me personally, when I was younger, I didn't grow up believing that the universe was rigged in my favor. I didn't even think about the world or the universe. I thought the world was just something that we came into and we had to, struggle and strive and work hard to figure out and get what we wanted in life. I didn't have any understanding that we could create what we wanted in life. That came much, much later for me, like 4 or 5 decades later. Even though my parents were very good about being flexible and open-minded and kind, and they were actually How to Win Friends and Influence, Dale Carnegie trainers and coaches when we were little girls. And so a lot of that rolled into our life. So personal development and believing in ourselves and having confidence and setting goals, those were things I learned as a young child. I learned about them, but they didn't really sink in, and I didn't really apply them until I was much older, when I went to corporate America after graduating from college, after getting through some major health challenges. Then I started to open up and be more curious about, well, how does the world really work, right? Here's the experiences I've had so far, some good, some bad, some terrible, some awesome, but overall, just a chaotic hodgepodge of experiences. And I wanted to know, how can I have an impact on my life, or does stuff just happen to us and it's our job to respond and react and deal with things that come our way? I would contend it is always our pleasure and our privilege to deal with all the things that come our way. But it wasn't until, and I don't even remember where I first heard or first read this, it could have been from any number of gurus or experts or people that are much wiser and much more experienced than I was at the time. The universe is rigged in your favor. And this actually comes from Rumi. Rumi said back in the 13th century that live life as if it's rigged in your favor. And he said a lot of very, very, very wise things. He was an Islamic dervish, a Persian poet, and a surf master back in the 13th century. And we still hear today many, many of the sayings and the wise things and the different perspectives that he shared in his writings and in his work. There's a site with 300, there's a site with 55, there's all kinds of wise things. And how I found this even out today is I'm like, okay, I've heard of Rumi, I've heard a lot of the sayings. Who the heck was Rumi? And as part of the Supersize Your Business Challenge today, I researched it, I looked it up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no wonder. It's kind of like all of the proverbs and sayings and things that we still listen to and believe as a culture from the Bible or other religious writings and things. There's so many things that we've learned and been indoctrinated with and believe from our childhood that we carry through our entire lives. Well, I wish I'd gotten this one and clicked in for me a little sooner, because what it enables us to do is realize that everything that happens to us, everything, the things that we think are terrible and devastating and bad, the things that we think are good and wonderful and luck, or we're in the right place at the right time to take advantage of an opportunity, all of them are uniquely coming to us on purpose. Now, you're like, well, okay, I would not have wished a sudden cardiac arrest on myself on purpose. But after the fact, after experiencing that and, checking out for about 10 days and then coming back and being revived, I would not have chosen that for myself. But looking back on that event and the things that followed and the development and the searching and the curiosity and the things I had to learn following that event, and primarily the things I needed to change in my behavior and my thinking and my emotions and my entire life, the things that came out of that, I see that event was perfectly timed and perfectly set up for me, for my overall benefit, right? And so even the bad things that happen to us, there's always a way of looking at it and finding the lessons learned and the gifts in those situations. I don't care how tragic it is, how bad it is, how horrible our experiences have been. There's something in it that we are supposed to take away from that. I believe since my sudden cardiac arrest and all the things I've learned since then, I truly believe that the universe is rigged in my favor. Doesn't always feel like that, right? When things are going bad or when I'm trying to do something and the results aren't coming as fast as I think they should, I don't always feel like the universe is rigged in my favor. But then I step back and I look at the situation from a different perspective and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. The reason this isn't working is XYZ. It's not because the world is out to get me. The world is a bad or scary place. And we get to decide. And that's one of the most fun ways to exercise our personal powers. We get to choose what we want to think, what we want to feel, what we want to believe. Again, it doesn't always feel like when we're experiencing our feelings that we get to choose what they are, but we do. We have the power, the personal power and privilege to change what we're thinking about, to change our beliefs, to at least question them and say, yep, I've believed that since I was a little girl, and I still want to believe that because that's moving me forward. I've always believed that if I worked hard and put in effort and energy into something, that I would figure out a way to make it work. Knowing that I can always find a way, always figure it out, that is a belief that helps and serves me well. Another little funny belief that I have about myself, and I've proven it out thousands and thousands of times in a positive way, is that I am really, really good at finding things. I'm awesome at figuring things out and finding lost things. Now, is that absolutely true every time? No, sometimes I can't find stuff. Sometimes I lose stuff and I can't find it. I lost my banking information and actually had to go to the bank after 2 years so I could access my online accounts. So I don't always, but I always figure it out, right? I always find a solution to create what it is that I want in life. And guess what? So do you. And if we're not doing it on purpose, if we're not consciously choosing and moving in the direction we want to go, guess what? The world will just serve us up stuff and we'll react to it and respond to it. And that will determine what our results are. As a saying, if we're not working on our own goals and objectives, there are plenty of people out in the world, in the universe, that will give us and let us have their goals and objectives to help them achieve. Think of politicians, think of any leader, think of your jobs or organizations. If I think back and part of why I finally left corporate America once and for all was because I was simultaneously running my own businesses and then working in corporate America in different capacities and different jobs. Really cool experiences. Awesome. Some again, some good, some bad, some ugly. But for the most part, I look back on my corporate experience, even getting fired, as for me at the time. It didn't feel like it at the time, but I learned after the fact that it was because I was in the wrong position, the wrong spot for me, and I needed to get into the right spot. And it wasn't necessarily, the next step wasn't the right spot. Actually, the next step was a promotion, more responsibility, but the culture and the environment that I stepped into was actually worse than the one that I left initially. So it was the next step I needed to show me more of what wasn't working for me, until I finally made the choice and the decision to leave corporate America and go out on my own and do my own things and have my own businesses. But I needed the experience of working for other businesses, other business owners, big corporations, to understand the importance of things that would make me successful in my own businesses. The importance of quality, systems, processes, goals and objectives, budgets, all the little things that we might not know about if we're not running our own business, or if we decide we're going to run our own business, but they could trip us up and cause us to fail, were those things I needed to learn working for someone else while simultaneously running my own businesses. So that was my journey, my path. And I continue to be learning and looking for ways that the universe is rigged in my favor. Because some days it doesn't feel like it, right? It just doesn't. But if we look for the gift in every experience, if we look for what we're supposed to see and know and learn and realize, or have an epiphany or an aha moment about, then we realize that all the experiences, every person that comes in and out of our life, is there to show us something or teach us something, or there's something we can learn from them. Excuse me. Even if it's to learn how not to treat other people, how not to communicate, how not to be or do something. All right, so what's our action item today? Our action item is to think about and share just one way that the universe is rigged in your favor, or that the universe could be rigged in your favor if you chose to look at something in a different way, in a different perspective. We get to decide, am I going to look at the positive aspects of this and how it's benefited me, or am I going to focus on the negative aspects or in the negative consequences of something and how that's hurt me? We get to decide. I guarantee if we look at the things that hurt us, we'll create and get more of those in our life and more experiences to show us those. If we focus on the things that we learn and the benefits and the gifts of every experience that we have and everyone we come in contact with, then we'll create more of those positive experiences in our life. I didn't make this up. It's a universal law. It's the way things work. What we put into life is what we get out of it. All right. If I can help you in any way, if you have any questions about this, hit me up. Otherwise, realize life and this challenge is rigged in your favor. It's for you to become a better version of you. All right. Have an awesome day, and I will be with you tomorrow.